love it. So simple question is, how did you come to my office? And I walked. Well, that's not 10. 10 is reserved by definition of disability book by the reserved for people that cannot touch the ground. So wheelchair bound, bed bound. So I tell my patient, 10 would be if I grab this knife and cut your leg off without anesthesia. Would it be higher pain than you feel now? Oh, hell yeah. Well, oh, hell yeah. I mean, that's what it is. So let's go be realistic. If you can put, what's 5, 6, 7 means, mild, moderate, severe. So explaining pain. I'm giving the long answer because this is what people choose. What saline can do if you have a pain level around 4, 5, or 6 scale of 10 or 50, 60 millimeter scale of 100. So we have a bunch of data published. I mean, I told you last time to check Dr. Altman publication from, I believe, 15 or 16. This is a very nice review article about saline, efficacy of saline. So when you read that paper, you can really say, I mean, look, this stuff works, and works definitely for half of the year, for 6 months. So I'm designing my study to be superiority trial that I already know that I'm in trouble, because at 6 months, people injected with saline will report decreased pain. Zimmer Biomet tried to avoid that, and they designed the trial with saline as placebo superiority trial for 1 year. And that paper is not published because there's nothing to publish. You're not going to believe me what I'm going to say. But I was privileged to see the data that saline actually worked after 1 year. And everybody was just about to say, how in the hell? So, and we have patients grade 2 and 3, so no 4. So now, when you see this trial with saline, you would say this RTX should be superior to saline. So what's the role of Zilretta in this case? So you might have trial inside the trial that you have to have different kind of trial. It's not superiority, it's trial of equality. So you have to prove to FDA that your drug is as good as Zilretta at whatever they pick, 6 months, based on the parameters you put in as a WOMAC scores, pain scores, whatever scores you have, they're all subjective scores. So this trial is designed, if I'm biostatistician and I help design these trials, I will ask biostatistician, what's your goal here? What do you want to see? Especially with such a small number, clinical trial phase 2, with so many different arms, you have actually 2 drugs. So this is going to be very difficult. It will be easy if life goes, the way it's supposed to, and everything is collected and done, and the great data grouped. So you have 7.5, you have 12.5, 15, whatever, 20, and you see decreased pain, like, in the books. It will be beautiful, but it doesn't work like that.
But is that enough? Like, is the number of patients enough to prove it for a phase 3? If they have so many arms, so many different doses.
I'm not biostatistician. I did work with them in the past, but doesn't look to me that would be, maybe in ideal situation that you don't have any outliers and some patients, you have maybe 15, 16 patients per arm, and how many going to finish the trial, how many going to be screen fails or whatever happens, I don't know.
Okay.
But again, I don't think there is enough to answer your question. What I believe that this number of patients is enough to prove their point with 3 different drugs, and not enough patients to prove that.
So let's go back to, okay. Let me try to, because there are a bunch of questions that I have now, but okay. So let's try to look at the Sorrento trial for a second, and I want to pick your brain on some assumptions. So they had a phase 1B, which was apparently successful. They published data. They did a bunch of different doses. And then they tried to plan and move